The United Nations says the global water system is in crisis. Despite safe water and sanitation being a human right, billions of people lack access to them. From March the 22nd up until the 24th, the Netherlands and Tajikistan and co-host the UN Water Conference in New York. Now, this conference aims to create a momentum where everyone comes together to take action and address the broader challenges when it comes to water. To help us unpack this is Wiseman Mkhize, who's the founder of the African Global Networks. A very good morning to you from where you are, but good afternoon from our end. You're representing South Africa at the UN Water Conference in New York. We know that access to water is recognized as a human right in the Constitution. Some important discussions will take place at that conference. What forms part of the agenda?
Good afternoon or good morning and to the listeners of Newzroom Afrika. Thank you very much for hosting us. It's a real deal breaker for the world in the hosting of this conference by the United Nations. You remember that last year around October there was a preparatory meeting where all of us gathered here in New York to kind of like create an agenda on what was supposed to be discussed. A very interactive dialogue kind of packaged program has been approved and will be part of the conference, as you have said, from the 22nd to the 24th. But what is important is that we as South Africa are here, and we want to thank our permanent mission for having endorsed us as African Global Networks, but also the KZN government under the leadership of Premier Mkhize have also supported this event. So we'll be doing a side event showcasing what KwaZulu-Natal is doing in terms of provision of water and sanitation in the province. So we are very much excited to represent the country, but also as an opportunity to interact with other countries as well, finding new technologies, finding new partners in many of the challenges that the country is facing. We're looking forward to that.
You've been confirmed as one of the speakers in the plenaries at that conference. I mean, the water challenges here at home are quite serious, especially considering that South Africa is a water-scarce nation receiving insufficient and unreliable rainfall. When it comes to some of the messages that you want to put out, what are you going to be talking about when it comes to the challenges in South Africa? Also, in consideration of the access to water in rural areas.
Yes, what is important is that ourselves as African Global Networks, we are representing the non-government stakeholder. As we are here, we are all under leadership of Honorable Minister Senzo Mchunu, whom I believe is arriving today as well in New York with the entire team. We've got one message as a country which the minister will be leading us. But as a non-government stakeholder, I got an opportunity to be invited to be one of the speakers in the plenaries. I think we will be talking water and climate change. I'm still waiting for the full program from the United Nations. What is important here is that we are putting this side event on the 21st of March. The 21st of March in South Africa, we all know that it's a human rights day, as you have rightfully put so. Water is a basic human right. And we are discussing the importance of provision of clean water and decent sanitation, especially to rural governments, to rural communities by developing nations. We will be joined by UN Habitat, who have come onto the path and said they want to join us. We are also joined by the government of Ghana, so they are all going to be part of such discussions, where our Honorable MEC Nomagugu Simelane will be our leader, as well as the permanent mission of South Africa, taking forward those discussions. So we're looking forward to this, and we are hoping amicable and good platforms and solutions will come out of this for the benefits of the country.
It's important that you imagine that water and climate change will be one of the topics under discussion, especially considering the deadly floods in April of last year and the impact that had on not only KwaZulu-Natal, but the questions it began to raise about readiness, preparedness around climate change and its impact.
That's very true. Actually, the crafting of our topic, which is provision of water to rural communities, was based on that from the experience that we had. Especially, I'm coming from Durban, and I was part of that experience in those floods. And recently, we have just seen those in other provinces, So it tells you that climate change is here to stay. And as a country, or as a continent, in fact, we must be ready and putting adaptations and other forms of awareness, and try and do things differently. It comes from the planning point of view. We do understand that our government, especially, has inherited a trouble with infrastructure, but now as a country, I believe we need to start to talk to have those discussions. What do we do in terms of improving the infrastructure for water and sanitation? And not just to plan for now, but plan for maybe the next 100 years.
Yeah, absolutely. In analyzing the access progress on water-related goals and targets, we know it's alarmingly at a very slow pace, trying to meet the targets. What solutions are you going to be putting forward in trying to establish a way forward, the solutions of the future?
The good thing about the United Nations platform is that it's an official program, and all the United Nations members are there. Whatever decisions that are going to be taken out of these 5 interactive dialogues, as I've said, there's going to be a dialogue, a plenary on water for health. There's going to be a dialogue on water for climate action, water for transboundary. For instance, South Africa, we, depending on our neighbors, especially in the SADC region, where Lesotho and other countries are forming part of our sustainability in terms of provision of water. So all those discussions are very crucial. And us as a non-government stakeholder, all that we want to see, how do we fast track this? Yes, we'll sit in the conference come Saturday or Sunday. What is it that the United Nations is putting in place? And what is it that these nations are pledging as a way forward to ensure that this goal, SDG 6, is well implemented? If we can achieve some of those things before or by 2030, which is what the UN SDGs are about, that will be well and good for the country.
Yeah, very well. Thank you so much. Thanks for talking to us. Wiseman Mkhize, hoping there to hear some feedback after that conference from the African Global Networks representing South Africa at the 2023 UN Water Conference in New York.